Hey everyone, I just want to say thank you for tuning into this podcast channel. You can make an account real easy. All it takes is sign in with Google or Facebook or whatever it be, and then you can sort of like my page and subscribe to it. And you can like my videos and get updates as to every video I post. Anyways, I'm blessed either way, even if you're just clicking the link on Facebook. I just want to say I love you guys. Thank you for listening. And I've talked enough about my intention for doing this. It's about time I started doing it, don't you think? Right. So, this one is going to be about this podcast. I've gotten some feedback, and I think it's amazing the connections that can be made within just a few hours of conversation. So me and this person who I hadn't ever talked to before, started messaging me about 2 or 3 days ago and about the channel and the project that I'm doing, and we started talking and we just talked the rest of the night. It's an amazing connection that you can get with people when you decide to sort of cross that barrier into depth, in our conversations, cross that barrier of small talk and really dig deep with the people who are in front of us. And I feel like that's the ultimate goal for in general. Like, I am just so obsessed with depth in conversation. If I am talking with someone, it's going to be deep for me either way, but the goal is to make it deep for them too, in that case, and that's not to say that I don't have light talk. I enjoy depth so much more. So anyways, we started talking about attachment versus non-attachment, in love, in relationships, in just relationships with people in the world around us. So I just want to touch on those two things because I think it's important, and it's really good to sort of have an idea of when you are attached and when you're not attached. So let's just get right into it. I'll try to make it short. The attached love, that's sort of looking to what is outside of you, looking to the people in your life, the places perhaps, like a home, and even pets and whatever you may love outside of yourself in this life, to sort of provide you with the feeling of self-love that you can have. When attachment goes a little too far, that's when addictions occur. That's where just bad things start happening. So you can't get too attached with the outside, because of all the grief it has the capability to bring into your life. Whatever you're giving attention to, whatever you're giving your time and your energy to, is essentially what you're giving your power to. So for example, and it's different in relationships, because my relationship with cigarettes, for example, or I don't have a relationship with cigarettes in all honesty, but someone's relationship with cigarettes is going to be a lot different than someone's relationship with their father or with their brother or sister, and the difference is going to be amazing. It's going to be a pretty big difference between those two relationships. However, you can be attached to both things. Obviously, you can be attached to both relationships. So the difference between healthy attachment and not so healthy attachment is simply just what you're focused on in the relationship. If you're in a relationship with a person who you really feel love for and you lose them, you're going to feel grief, right? You're going to get all sorts of sad and messy, and it's not going to look good. But guess what that is teaching you? It's teaching you the love that you have the capability to feel. Because that sadness of losing someone, that sadness of a love that is seemingly gone from you, it honestly, that sadness is an expression of love, and I think we know that deep down, and it's why I believe sadness exists in God. I believe God is sad over the ones who are lost, and that's why he wants them back to share in the joyous love, the love of being in a relationship instead of the love of a relationship broken off, which is the perfect metaphor for relationships with God. But anyways, unattached love, however, that is sort of when you disidentify your capacity to love with what is outside of you. There are instances in my life where I had a lot more social interaction going on, and it was sort of taken for granted, and I at the time didn't really know my own capacity to love. And when I realized this, I was actually in a place where I was unattached. So I had sort of unattached myself from these relationships for a little while. I had unattached myself from the world, basically, and that taught me how to love myself. And loving yourself is key if you ever want to truly love another person. And you'll hear that all over the place. That's not just me saying that. Unattached love, it goes into Eastern philosophy a lot, and sort of being deep. It teaches that being detached from the world around you is the only way out of suffering. Now, I don't really believe that. I believe that there still can be suffering, but it's going to be a pure form of it if you're detached from the world. So when you are detached from the world, you are in touch with who you truly are. When you're detached from the world, when you are quote unquote walking in the world but not of the world, that is when you're walking in the Spirit. And when you walk in the Spirit, you're being authentically the expression of love that you can be, I think. And having that expression of love realized in yourself, like when you realize your own capacity to love, and you do this by maybe loving yourself or realizing it through someone who loves you, who is outside of you. I believe, which is part of the reason for attachment in relationships, because when we can see how much someone loves us, then we can a lot more easily grasp the love for ourselves. We can learn to love ourselves through that. And learning to love ourselves then wakes us up to the capacity inside of us to always be that expression of love, no matter what is happening outside of us. And that is the unattached love that I'm talking about. It's the true expression of who we are. It's the true expression of our love in fulfillment. And that's what we're all shooting for. We're all shooting to be able to love as much as possible. I mean, we're not all shooting for that, but that's what the ultimate meaning of life, I would say, is, which is that's a pretty heavy thing to say, but I honestly do believe that love is the reason for living. I mean, what else could it be? It's the thing that attaches everything and connects everything to each other, and that's a big teaching in the New Age movement, but that's also biblical too. And Christ he was just all about love. He was all about mercy and loving your neighbor. It's all about that. But in order to be able to do that, you gotta know how to love yourself too. And you gotta detach from narcissism at the same time. You can't love yourself and be obsessed with yourself and only be looking out for yourself. You gotta love yourself and realize who you really are, who you can be for other people, and who you can be for God, basically. Like, if you are a selfless individual, then the expressions of love that you feel for yourself and the expressions of love that you are able to give other people is going to be so much better, so much more meaningful, so much more depth is going to be added to your life. I can tell you this from experience. Anyways, that's my whole take on attached versus unattached love. I hope you guys enjoyed it. My YouTube channel is going to kick off. I'm going to put a testimony video up shortly on that. I just have to get it shot and edited. Um, I'll be doing, I'll be, making books, book, what do you call it? I'll be giving book, not reviews, but recommendations to you guys of the books that have sort of helped me along on my way that I really think would be beneficial for you guys to read. For now, Love as a Way of Life is a good one to put for this video. Love as a Way of Life. I'm not sure who the author of it is, but the author wrote the 5 love languages too, and this is just another book on top of that. So just keep loving, keep finding out your own capacity to love, and let yourself feel it. Like, don't be putting up walls to love, even if it's sadness. Don't be putting up walls. Know what's good for you, and choose love. God bless you. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening.